Hopefully it says we're recording, so I know we're recording. It says live is repairing, so now people are going to start to come into this thing. All right, it says we are recording. People are coming in. I see a few people coming in. I'm going to get my sponsor out of the way first, and then we'll get started. All right. And you know who my sponsor is, my fulfillment team. All right. All right, guys, we are live on ProSellerTalk, show number 86. Welcome. We're going to get our sponsor out of the way. Our sponsor is My Fulfillment Team. My Fulfillment Team is a state-of-the-art inventory processing company. You source, we process, you profit. They'll receive, store, prep, pack, ship, even Amazon Plus. What that means is they'll do anything on-demand shipping for eBay, e-commerce, where you need a prompt, reliable shipping service for order fulfillment. So if you have anything on Walmart, on any of those platforms, they're a state-of-the-art, software-driven company. They're family-owned and operated for 8+ years. They've touched millions of items. You never touch the items, however. Automate your process, pay for only the services you need. Check them out at www.myfulfillmentteam.com. All right, let me get back to being live here. All right, guys, so welcome. And I have a very special guest today. I'm kind of envious of her because she went to China last year. But we talked about that when we were off air a little bit.
Last month, actually.
And she went last month again. I think that was the second time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But I have a good friend of mine, Barbara Drazga. Barbara is what I call, and she's just phenomenal when it comes to bundling and teaching you how to bundle products. And one thing that's great about bundles, guys, is it literally crushes your competition. It takes it away. So if you're worried about selling on Amazon and competition, then pay attention to this webinar. Put your phone down, get a drink, relax, give us 40 minutes to an hour, and I promise you that Barbara is going to make this webinar workshop well worth your time that you invest today with us. So again, Barbara, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the people on my following that maybe don't know you?
Hey, I'm Barbara Drazga, aka I've got a nickname, the Deal Diva, because I'm really good at negotiating deals with suppliers, apparently. Somebody else gave me that name, but I thought it was so cool that I had to put it on a mug. And you can go find me on Facebook. Just look up Deal Diva Sourcing, Deal Diva for Amazon sellers. So anyway, I've been selling online since 1996, believe it or not. I'm older than I look. And I started selling on Amazon in 2015. And I started like a lot of other people with retail arbitrage. I actually sold my sofas, my first Q4. So I had this big living room, open living room with no furniture in it. And I hooked up a trailer to my minivan, and I had torn the seats out of the minivan. And I went store to store to store to store to store. And I would fill those puppies up, come back, dump everything in the living room. And overnight, I would just prep everything and peel off stickers and create listings and everything that's involved with retail arbitrage, right? And then the next morning, I would whisk everything off to UPS until then I discovered that they would come pick it up, which really streamlined it a little bit. But then I'd go out and I'd do it all over again. So by the end of that Q4, come December 24th, 25th, I didn't even know my own name. I was so exhausted. I knew there had to be a different way to approach Amazon. Now, I made about $35,000 net in that 6-7 weeks leading up to Christmas, right? But was it really worth the time and the energy I put into it? It was the question I had to ask myself. So I knew that I wanted a business that would support my lifestyle, my desired lifestyle, which is freedom. And doing retail arbitrage just wasn't going to get me there because it wasn't scalable in an easy way. So I started researching wholesale, private label products, and then bundling. So what I discovered was that I could source products direct from manufacturers or from wholesale suppliers or even locally and create product bundles in a way. I discovered a way that is different from what a lot of other people are talking about. So I take a customer-centric research approach, and I'll share that in this webinar. I'll tell you exactly what I do. But that's a little bit of my background, that I started like the rest of you guys with retail arbitrage and then realized that it just wasn't sustainable. And, you know, we're all in this to build a business, right? You guys are not in this as a hobby, right? We want to support our families and our lifestyle. And bundling, I believe, is the way to go. I'm 90% wholesale bundles and moving into private label. So that's my story. John, I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you.
No, I was talking to Darla. I was muted. I was giving you the platform. Hey guys, can you guys type a 1 in the chat if you can hear Barbara okay or myself okay? We just want to make sure that you guys are hearing us okay. And also let Barbara know where you're from. Where are you from? What part of the world or what part of the country? We're always curious to see where the listeners are coming from, and Barbara would probably like to know that herself.
I'm in Arizona, in case anybody's wondering, where it's beautiful. It's like, I don't know, 70 degrees or so. Go ahead and turn your phones off, guys. If you've got, turn the ringer off on your phones, and that way you could, hear everything I'm saying, because I'm going to give you an exercise. This is an interactive training, right? So I'm going to give you stuff to do. So you're going to be in the chat. And hey, hey, Jersey, I'm a Philly girl. I was born in Philly. I got it. So if you guys are getting any snow over there, just hunker down, turn on that little space heater, and get a pen and paper. And I'm going to give you a ton of content so that you can start creating bundles right away. So John, whenever you want me to start, do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, it looks like we got them coming from all over. We got New Hampshire, Texas, Jersey, Philly. Someone says they like the Phillies. Snow is Thursday. Yeah, I'm in Western Tennessee, and believe it or not, they're talking snow tomorrow and Thursday for us too. And it's very rare that we see it down here in this part of the world.
Snow is a 4-letter word in my life.
Yeah. And being that you're from, Philly, I'm actually originally from New England, which is Connecticut. And up in Connecticut, we're used to 1 to 2 feet of snow all the time. So that's why we came down here to Tennessee to be with our grandkids and get away from the snow, but kind of following us a little bit. So whenever you're ready, Barbara, just go for it.
I'm ready. So if you guys are ready, I'm going to dig in. I've created a whole presentation for you. So, and again, it's interactive. So grab a pen and paper and your cup of coffee, turn down all the distractions in your life right now, and I'm just going to dig in. All right, let me share the screen here. Whoops, can I share a screen?
We love her background, by the way, where it says dream big, guys. That's awesome.
Thank you. And you see my clock over here that has its clock on a $100 bill, which represents time is money.
Awesome.
I really like that. So I'm not seeing an option for me to, oh, there it is, share the screen. I got it, sorry. I had to put my glasses on to see that. So here we go. All right, digging right in, kiddos. Here we go. And we're gonna get rid of this. I guess we can do that. Boom. Okay. John, if you want to turn off your video, that will show more of the screen. And then it'll just be me, little me. There we go. Okay, good. So everybody, I'm the creator of the Bundle Masterclass. And today we're going to be talking about bundling secrets, 6 steps to profitable bundles. You can join, just go like my page on facebook.com/bundlesecrets. And I drop bundle ideas and other cool stuff in there about bundling on Amazon on a regular basis. So here we go. In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to plan your bundles before you spend 1 penny on inventory. Yes, you heard it. It's kind of upside down, backwards, inside out. I do not start with product when creating bundles. And I'm going to show you what I do start with. It's completely opposite from what you hear people talking about with bundling. How to niche your bundle concepts for higher prices and more sales. And I'm going to show you what I mean by mashups of niche keywords to increase your sales and your profitability on bundles. How to keep competitors from hopping on your listings forever. I'm going to show you several websites that you can go to create custom product, to pop in your product, or to prop in your bundle, and how to find low MOQ suppliers to test your bundles. So that way you don't have to invest in a container of stuff or buy, thousands of products to test a bundle. I'm going to show you how to source, a dozen or 2 dozen just to test a bundle concept before you go all in. Okay, so why bundles? So sell products, you can sell these bundles at a higher price point, which equals more profit. You can leverage seasonal trends and search terms to sell your bundles. You can beat your competition to page 1 with no advertising, by the way. If you do your bundles, if you do your research of your bundles upfront properly. And you can take advantage of increased traffic to test your niches fast by using Amazon as your platform to test the bundles. And then you can set yourself up for continued sales in January and beyond. After your competition has run out of product, that was the biggest mistake I made my first year on Amazon. I went through that crazy Q4, and then come January, I had nothing to sell. I pretty much sold out of everything. I didn't understand inventory control. And come January, my inventory was empty. So I'm going to show you how to create bundles that are going to sell year-round, not just seasonally. So here's my unique approach to bundling. Know your market before sourcing. That means understanding the passions that people share or problems that they need solved before you ever touch a product. And I've got a 6 to 9 step approach to bundling, but the very first one before you look at any products is you have to get in the minds and the hearts of a target market before you can start deciding what products to put in your bundle to meet their passions and their problems. You want to identify your competition before you ever create a bundle. You want to say, by competition, I mean, who else is selling a related product to the keywords that you're going after, to the niche market that you're trying to serve. You want to understand what other products are being served to them. And then you want to build and evaluate your bundle concepts on a lower MOQ, a lower quantity, and then scale up once you've tested them. How to identify suppliers. And by the way, not just wholesale. You can go, and not just China. You can source in many different countries, including the US. How to competition-proof your bundle. This is key. And I don't mean just throwing some random thing in your bundle so that nobody else can copy it, but putting a competition-proof piece in your bundle that your competition won't be able to compete against you. I'm going to show you some sites to go to. And then test and refine your bundle and your listings, how to drive off Amazon traffic, and how to automate and delegate most of the process. So here we go. Anita, I don't know if you guys are in any of the Amazon groups, but Anita Breeze is a Canadian seller who is huge in the bundling space. She actually created an ebook for Canadian sellers on bundling. And she is a bundle masterclass student, and she did a bundle recently, just last month, in fact, in end of September, beginning of October. She sent in 36, just 3 dozen of them, of a unicorn themed bundle selling for 25 bucks. Her in-pocket profit after expenses, after all Amazon fees, after sending them across the border into .com, she was netting $14.14 each. And she started selling the very same day, and in 1 week sold out of that bundle. And she's going to reorder and raise her price. So that's just from one bundle, 36 of them. Once it hit the warehouse, it started selling the same day because she did her market research up front. So in 1 week, she made over $500 net profit. Now, if you multiply that out by the months, that's $2,000 a month times 12 months, and that's just one bundle. So I believe in building a sustainable business, so I want to look at creating evergreen bundles versus seasonal bundles. And by evergreen, I mean bundles that are going to feed a passion or meet a need year-round or solve a problem year-round. But then I'll also add seasonal bundles for, you know, the Halloween, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's, Easter, Mother's Day, etc. But I don't build my business around seasonal bundles. I build them around evergreen bundles and then add the seasonal. It's kind of like icing on the top. So here's some types of bundles. Of course, gift bundles, and you'll see in my trainings, I use unicorns a lot of time as an example, just because I like unicorns. In fact, I've got a 6-foot unicorn I just put in the front yard as a Christmas decoration, and the wind like tore her out of the ground, so I mounted her up in the tree. You can go join my private Facebook page, my personal page, Barbara Drazga, and you'll see pictures of this thing now up in the tree. So I'm doing a fantasy themed Christmas decoration. I digress. So I like unicorns, so a lot of times I'll use unicorns because it's as an example, because it's a fanatical niche market. So you can do gift bundles, solution bundles, so a bundle that solves a problem, projects and kits. People like to put things together, right? Ready to give gifts. So with the wrapping and the gift basket ready out of the box, they can gift it. Bulk products. So maybe teachers, right? So they'll need to buy 30 of one unit or one bundle for a classroom. So you can put together classroom products, decoration kits in any niche market. These are just a couple of ideas. But in Bundle Masterclass, I do a lot of hour and a half long live look over my shoulder. We call the look over my shoulder completely unscripted brainstorming sessions on just identifying niche markets. So let's keep going here. Is it not letting me go? There we go. So niche market research. Step 1, before you touch any products, do niche market research. It means you really need to understand and get into the hearts and the heads of a niche market before you source anything. So the way to do that is to start brainstorming and identifying passions that people share or problems that they need solved. And I'm going to have you, in just a minute, I'm going to have you interact. So start thinking about some passions and hobbies and problems that you need solved, because I'm going to have you interact and put it in the chat. So start thinking a little bit about that. And then you want to conduct your deep keyword research. And there are a lot of tools out there to do that. I use Merchant Words and Google Trends, and I'm evaluating a couple of other tools right now, one of which is keyword.io, and another one is Helium 10. But there are a lot of different keyword research tools out there. Merchantwords.com is pretty reasonably priced. If you do merchantwords.com/deal-diva, you can get it for $9 a month, and it's pretty powerful, and you can add different country platforms too. And then look for niches where you can combine high volume keywords, and I call those mashups. So by mashup, I mean it could be so let's say people who have little dogs, specifically maybe a poodle, female poodle, and people who have little dogs is kind of a passionate market. They like to carry them around and dress them up and have birthday parties. So we know that unicorns is a highly trafficked keyword. So what if you mashed up female poodle dog owners with unicorns and birthday parties? So now you have 3 different niche markets. So birthday parties for dogs of a specific breed that are unicorns themed. So you can get the juice from all those types of keywords on that listing when you mash up these keywords. Okay, let's brainstorm. I'd like you to type in the chat things that you're passionate about. But here's the caveat. Your goal is to niche it down. So instead of saying something like gardening, I want you to niche that down to the types of gardening. So it could be, for example, herb gardening, indoor gardening. I bought this little arrow garden thing so I could put it on my kitchen counter so I didn't have to go outside and like garden in a big box. I just wanted to create seedlings on my counter, but I also wanted to use organic seedlings. So my niche would be indoor, maybe small space apartment gardening, organic gardening. So go ahead and put in the chat some niches that you know people are passionate about or that you're passionate about, or problems that you think people need solved. And let me go in the chat and see what you guys got here for me. Let's come over here to the chat. Boom. All right, what kind of ideas do you guys have? Type in the chat things you're passionate about, but niche it down. All right, let me see what you got.
I see raw cooking, 4-night dogs.
Raw cooking and dogs. Now, go ahead, Alan, and niche that down even more. Big dogs, short dogs, dog with short legs, little dogs, different breeds of dogs. How about dogs with insomnia? How about elderly dogs? How about dogs with joint pain? So really niche down. So James, your multi-clove garlic peeler, that's actually a product. And we're not talking about products. Remember, my approach to bundling is to start with a niche, a fanatical niche market. So the fanatical niche market for that could be foodies, people who like to cook at home, people who like organic cooking. So forget about there are any products in existence right now, and just think about passionate markets and toss that in the chat. Cats. Jen, what kind of cats? So problems that people with long hair cats have. So a niche problem would be people who have long hair cats of a certain breed. Or how about people who show cats, right? Mini Schnauzer, there you go. Senior cats, I love it. Kitchen gadgets. Okay, so Angie, again, that's a product. So think about what is a target market for people who like gadgets, kitchen gadgets, okay? So think, again, it is a mindset shift. And if you could take away one thing from this training today, it would be to make that shift away from products, completely away from products. When you start thinking about bundles, you're gonna start with a fanatical niche market. And some great ways to do that are pick up some magazines and look at niche market magazines. There's magazines for like indoor gardening, right? And herb gardening and organic gardening and organic cooking, and people who like a certain type of dog. And there are associations for like English setter dogs. There's actually associations for different dog breeds. So I want you to start getting into the habit of thinking of what markets, what group of people share a common passion. What are they passionate about? Or a common problem. It could be, people have a problem that they have warts and they don't know how to get rid of their warts, for example. Or they have ingrown toenails. That's a problem that people share. So we're not talking products at all right now. We're just thinking about fanatical niche markets, things that people are passionate about or problems that they have to solve. So there's one more input in the acne. There you go, joint pain. Now we could even do some mashups up with that. So acne for preteen girls, right? So you have tween girls and acne as a mashup. Joint pain. Now we could go a lot of different places with joint pain. Maybe women between the age of 50 and 70 with joint pain in their hands, or dogs with elderly, large breed dogs with joint pain. So you see what I mean by niching it down, getting really niche about it. Okay, so let's keep going. Thank you guys, great share. Thank you for interacting. That was a great job. Keep doing that. Get a pad of paper and just start jotting things down as we go through this presentation. And I know you're going to get ideas now that you've made that brain shift. So here are some ideas just off the top of my head. Pet birthday, steampunk lovers. If you don't know what steampunk is, go Google it at the end of this presentation. Not right now, pay attention, but at the end, go look up steampunk. It's a really fanatical market. Animal images. So people like specific animals, like everything from llamas to dogs, horses, owls, reptiles, snakes. Think about any animal you can. Elephants is a big one. People who like that specific animal image are a fanatical niche market for anything that's got that animal on it. Countries, different countries. So you could think of, you could do bundles for people who love Italian food, or it's around Christmas time. I've got a German background. I grew up with a German grandmother, and around Christmas time, I find myself craving some Spätzle and Pfeffernuss, right? So I'll go to World Market and I'll basically buy all the stuff that gives me that warm and fuzzy feeling about having Christmases in my grandma's house, right? And cooking with my grandma. So I'll go out and I'll buy all this stuff that's German related. So think about different countries, expatriates, that they, it relates to their heritage. Sports fanatics. Now, you can't put a Arizona Cardinals, that's the football team here in Arizona. You can't put that image on something, but what you can do is you can imply a sports team. So if the colors of a sports team are gold and blue, you can put together maybe a snack bundle or a tailgating bundle, right? Where everything in there has colors of gold and blue. You can do the same thing for superheroes. So you can't do Superman or Spider-Man, but you can put together a superhero lovers bundle. And everything in there is silver and blue and red and gold, right? And black and the colors of a superhero. Same thing with princess bundle. So you can't use the Disney keywords, but you can put together a princess bundle where everything is in there is what colors, guys? What would that be? Put it in the chat for princess-related products.
Hey, Barbara, I'm just going to stop you for one quick second.
Yeah.
Can you just explain to them, for some of those people, when they hear you can't do this and can't do that, explain to them why you can't use Disney and you can't use superheroes and...
Well, they're restricted brands. So, okay, you know what? Can we do the Q&A at the end? Do you mind? I've got a lot of content to go through. So go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and I will get to the Q&A at the end. And that way I can flow through this just to kind of keep the flow going. Is that okay, John?
That works. That's good.
Okay, so for example, princess would be silver and pink and lavender, right? So you can imply a brand through colors, for example. Dancing and different types of dancing would be like little girls ballet dancing or ballroom dancers. I'm a West Coast swing dancer, so we spend a lot of money on our shoes and clothes and fun stuff for competition, and we have to have a bag for our shoes to protect our investment and certain brushes to kind of pull the leather up on the bottom of the shoes to get traction. So there are different things for different niches within the dance and astronomy. People love kits. They love like gemstone kits and a kit that will teach them how to understand the constellations, and maybe a bedroom decoration kit for a little boy that puts like stars on the ceiling, etc. Watches and pens. Another fanatical market that I have is pens, but maybe not just selling the watches and pens, but for instance, on the other side of this room, you can't see it, but I have these pen cases, these really nice wood cases that display my pens with a glass top. So think about what people use to protect and display their watches and pens. And then, of course, fashionistas. And there's so many niches of the types of things that people like to wear, everything from vintage, retro, to modern, to funky, punk, right? So these are just some ideas to get you started about thinking about passionate niche markets. So after you've identified some passionate competitive research. Now, again, we haven't sourced any products or even looked at products yet. And here's my thinking on doing research first. The more research you do upfront of a passion and who's operating that space, the more you decrease your chances of a bundle falling flat and increases your chances of that bundle being successful because you've done your research up front. So when I say competitive research, I'm talking about identifying what's being sold on Amazon to that target market. Now, I'm not talking about typing in that target market in the word bundle, because you don't really care if somebody else is selling a bundle that target market. You want to understand what products are being sold to them and then identify the sales volume for those products that are being sold to that target market. And then identify the holes in the market. You know, what's missing? Look at the product listings and look at the weaknesses in the listing, the weaknesses in their offering. Go to the questions, like scroll down towards the bottom where people are asking questions and leaving reviews, and look for some commonalities where they might say, gee, I really like this product, but I wish it also had fill in the blank. And you just start journaling and writing down. I actually have a bundle, it's a spreadsheet where you start generating these ideas. It's a bundle planner spreadsheet. And you start gathering this information as you do your research on your competitors in that market. And then step 3 is to make your bundle irresistible. Here's my goal with my bundles. I want people to see when it comes up in the search engine results and it's against all these other products, I want them to look at it and say, oh my gosh, shut up and take my money. So in order to do that, I have to create an added value experience, which means when they see the products in that bundle, that target customer is going to say, wow, this is everything I ever could have imagined that I'd want and more. Now, I'm not talking the amount of products in the bundle. I'm talking about the value of the products that you're choosing to put together for that bundle. So your initial problem and passion research is going to tell you what that customer wants and needs. And you want to make that bundle unique to everybody else's products, and you want to over-deliver using packaging, inserts, etc. And I'm going to give you an example of a real-life bundle that I have and what we did with packaging that makes it completely unique and very, very hard to copy. And you know, most sellers are lazy. So the more you make that bundle unique and really interesting to your target market, lazy sellers aren't going to take the time to copy that bundle. Okay, so you want to ask the right questions. And the questions are not, what else can I throw in this bundle? You've all seen it, right? You've seen these, maybe a party bundle put together, like party decorations bundle, and then they throw in like a completely non-related keychain, something ridiculous, in order so that competition can't jump on the bundle. But it doesn't serve the customer. And if you put the customer first, number one, in your research, above all, and you look at everything you're doing from a customer's perspective, then everything in that bundle will answer the question, what else does my ideal buyer want or need? Put them first instead of yourself or the product. So here's some do's and don'ts. Me Too products. Don't just copy what somebody else has done. Again, you're putting that product foremost. And what's number one? The customer. You want to avoid what I call bundle stuffing, which is just throwing some random object in there, okay, that doesn't serve the customer. And then let's say you do all this research and you've done a great job on putting together a bundle concept, researching your target market, researching your market, researching competition, but then you don't optimize your listing creation, right? You don't do great photos, and you don't do proper keyword research, and you don't do what you need to do to create a completely optimized listing. And the Bundle Masterclass is like an entire module with how to do photography and how to write great copy and how to create terrific bullets. And then doing poor photos. You know, you do all this research and then you just put one photo up and it's maybe not optimized. So when you do lifestyle photos and photos maybe with different people using your product, it enhances the ability for you to sell that product off that listing. And then not enough margin. So this is a business, folks. You know, we need to put together bundles that are also going to make us money. So you have to make sure that when you put together a bundle, there is enough margin in it so that you're making money. And I believe price points for bundles, here's what I don't believe, throwing a $15 bundle up there, a $10 or $12 bundle, because you have such little margin. You can't do any advertising. If something happens, doesn't sell, I mean, you've got so little money in it. So I like to have my bundles be $25 and above, and that's easily done. And then overthinking perfectionism. I have couple of students that they get to a certain point in the course and then they overthink everything and they don't actually pull the trigger because they want everything to be perfect. And at some point when you're creating bundles, you need actually just get it in there after doing your research, send in a couple of dozen, test it out, and then tweak. Okay, so poor bundle example. Hey, John, do we have any questions in the chat related to that slide that I just did? And I'll take a break over here and take a slurp of water.
I don't see any. Guys, you can post your questions anytime in the chat, and then when she has a moment to answer them, I will get them to her.
Awesome. Okay. So here's a poor bundle example. Pretty obvious that this is not a good bundle. All they did, if you guys have ever been to the dollar store, you recognize, I recognize these exact packs of stickers. So they put 2 packs of stickers and a pack of foam hearts. I don't even know what the target market is for this. Their price is $3. Dog, cats, raccoon, bears, this is all over the place. This is not just a terrible bundle. I'm sorry if this is your bundle, but please take this in the vein that I want to help you. There is no target market for this that I can understand. The price point's terrible. The listing is awful. The products don't serve a cohesive purpose. So this is what I don't want you to do, okay? And they're losing money on this too. Don't do something like this. But here's what I'm going to show you what you could do, something like this. But we can even do better on this one, and I'll tell you how in a second. So this is a good example of for the keywords get fit. So people who want to get fit for January, I love the target market for this, like could be like people who are traveling, like me. I travel a lot. I go to a lot of conferences. So this is totally travelable. These are small and they're light and they have a bag with them. And it's got a lot of different cool things with it. Here's what it's missing. And it's a great listing, by the way. I love the bullet points, and the title is fabulous. The pictures, look at all the different pictures they put on here, lifestyle pictures, people using it. They did a really great job with this listing. Here's what I would do differently with this bundle. First thing I thought when I looked at this was, well, I'm not sure how to use all this stuff. So it would be really useful for me is an 8.5 by 11 laminated chart of, row of 3 by 5, 15 exercises, showing people doing these exercises, and maybe double-sided, so 15 on either side, so 30 exercises, and I can hang it up on my wall. And then a little bit added value is an identical, like a card that's a business card size, but it flips open, also laminated, with a cheat sheet of all those maybe 15 or 12 of the most popular exercises, so I can put that in my wallet or put that in the carry bag and throw it in my suitcase and take it with me when I travel, right? And then one more thing I would do is, and this is I'll share more about this in just a few minutes in the presentation. On their bag, I would not have necessarily put just their brand name. I would have put something cool on it, right? I would have put maybe, an image that you can have created. You can have somebody draw for you to put it on that. So when you're carrying the bag, it looks cute. It doesn't just have a logo on it, but it has an image that's cute, for example. Okay, so that's how I would improve this bundle, just by doing that little added extra. There's a saying, I didn't coin it, but I like it. It's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. So I believe in doing that little extra in your bundles so that the customer looks at it and says, shut up and take my money. I want this so bad. Just hit buy now, right? That's what we want. Okay, then where to source? So the very first question I ask myself is viability. Do I have long-term access to the bundle products? So the problem when you're doing seasonal bundles is you can only buy that stuff. And also if you're only sourcing locally at stores locally, you can only buy that Christmas stuff at Christmas time, right? So you want to ask, or if it's liquidation or closeout product, then you have to be careful because you only have limited access to that product. So I want to ask, do I have long-term accessibility, long-term sources to all the stuff that's in these bundles? Retail stores, wholesale, liquidation-based, manufacturers, and guys, China is not the be-all and end-all, right? You can go to manufacturers in pretty much every country in the world, Poland, Guatemala, Thailand. There's countries all over the world manufacture products, including Canada and the US. Brand owners who are white label, and I'll show you an example of what that means in just a minute. Etsy, there are some suppliers on Etsy. There are these really creative people who will create products for you and become your wholesale supplier that they make by hand. And then local stores. You go to local stores and you see some products that feed a market that you're building out, and just look at the back packaging, and it's going to show you the manufacturer's name and address and sometimes website, and you can go directly to the website and set up a wholesale account. So here's a search example. I was putting together a shark-related product. It was a blanket and a neck pillow and a couple of other things, a storybook, and I needed plush sharks. So this took me all of 10 seconds, not kidding. I Googled wholesale plush, And boom, up came this listing. It was this link to the website Joissu, Joissu. And right on, there it is. There's a bundle of all these little plush animals. Now, I only need the shark, but this product is a bundle of these 6 sea animals, right? But this is an example of just using Google, and you'll hear me say it a lot in the Bundle Masterclass. Google is your friend. If you get stuck on something and you can't find something, just hit Google and type in wholesale or supplier or manufacturer of whatever niche product you're looking for. Okay, another example, and this is where we get into white labeling. So let's say you wanted to create your own baking supply kit that had an image on it, let's say a unicorn baking supply kit, just to stick with the unicorn theme. Maybe you're putting together a bundle for a little girl to do unicorn cookie baking with her friends. So it'll be like a bundle for a little girl's sleepover party, right? They do a slumber party, but it's a slumber baking party, unicorn themed, for example, off the top of my head. So you have somebody design a little label for you with a unicorn, little girls, right? And then all I did was put in private label baking supplies, and I found all of these on the first page. But these 2, the ones that I have yellowed out, were really interesting to me. So this traditionalbaking.com, private label cookie options available. And then private clabbergirl.com said, if you read here, value with your own branded baking ingredients. But even cooler is the wide range of ingredient sizes and packaging. So by sizes, you could actually get little smaller size instead of like a big cake baking kit. Maybe you could have 6 small baking kit size or cupcake size kits, right? Or sample sizes all put together of cupcake mix and icing and sprinkles or whatever, but little sample size in a nice bundle. Okay, so that's just a little bit of an idea on how to find white label and private label stuff in the US, in fact. So here's another way to find products. I just went to AliExpress, and I was putting together for back to school time, I was putting together a bundle for girls, 18, 19, 20, they're headed to college, right? And they're gonna live in a dorm room, or it's their first apartment, right? It's their first college apartment. And I was putting together a kitchen organization bundle in cute colors. So I went to AliExpress, and it took me just a couple of minutes to identify these products. So this is clearly, it's to hold your stuff in the sink. Here's some cute towel holders. Here's a key and tool holder, but they have different colors. So if you notice here, I could do 3 different variations of this bundle. I could put together maybe 2 or 3 or 4 other products and then make it a variation in blue, green, and pink, and white, okay? And then all the same products, but just the color variation. Okay, step 5, you want to competition-proof your bundles. After you've identified your target market, taken a look at your competition, and started looking for products, now you want to find a way that is going to make it harder for any other seller to come on and jump on your bundle. So the first thing is source from various suppliers. So use different sources to get your products in the bundle. And then unique packaging, and I'm going to show you in a second the way that I did some unique packaging on one of my bundles. And then put a custom piece in there. It could be a puzzle or a checklist or a cheat sheet or certificate or recipe or a card deck or anything that you could put an image on that adds value to that bundle. For example, one of the bundles I've done is zombie mugs. And it's a zombie breakfast mug where I private labeled the coffee. I white labeled the coffee. So I have this little sample pack of ground coffee with a zombie image on it that I had created, together with I think some breakfast biscuits. I did multiple variations of this. Breakfast biscuits, like cookies, a little pack of it, and then a his and her zombie mug. But in there, I thought, okay, my target market is people who have trouble waking up in the morning, and they love zombies. Maybe they like Day of the Dead, and they like to play video games with zombies, right? But they love zombies. What else would they do in the morning? What do people do? They do crossword puzzles, maybe. So I had there's these free crossword puzzle, and I generated a crossword puzzle on one side and then a word search puzzle on the back. And I used all terms related to zombies. And I created these puzzles, used Vistaprint to print them out, and then printed them out on these cardstock. So it was, so when they wrote on it, it didn't tear through. And then I found some zombie pens. So ballpoint pens with a zombie image on it. I got them from China. And I put that all together in a breakfast zombie bundle his and her zombie bundle. And that's how I locked. Okay, so that was just one example. Here's another one. So this is actually a bundle I've done, and you can go to bundlemasterclass.com/proseller to see the video where I show you this bundle. And it was a bundle of 6 plush hand puppets. You know, they play with them, they put your hands in, they're really cute and really fuzzy and fun to snuggle with. So what I did was I put them together, and there's like a pig, a cow, a dog, a monkey, a frog, which is really cute, and a teddy bear, 6 of them. So I put them together in a bundle, but then I added an adoption certificate. But the adoption certificate we created, so it said, "Hi, my name is," and then a blank that the child can fill in. And then, and I am the proud parent of a dog, a pig, a bear, a frog, and their names are, and then a line for each of those characters so that they can name, like, you know, Barney the bear and Penny the pig, right? So they can actually name and create an emotional connection with these puppets. And then we did an adoption box. So on the box that these came in, on the outside, if you guys have ever adopted a pet and you go and you go to take it home, and sometimes it's in a box, but it's got like breathing holes on the box. So we had the outside of the box printed with these holes on it to make it look like they're carrying around their adopted pets. And then on the inside of the box, when they take the box apart, it unfolds and folds back. We printed on it a little stage so that they could act out things with their puppets. So the packaging actually becomes the unique piece, one of the unique pieces of this experience. Because we weren't just selling puppets, we were selling the experience of kids playing with it and the parents maybe sitting with their kids and playing with it, right? And then some variations of this market. If you think out who else would use something like this, another target market could be like the therapy market, or children who have difficulty communicating, right? Or have developmental issues, where using puppets can help them communicate with the therapist and with their parents, right? And then another completely random niche for these puppets. I actually had a local customer come to buy some of these puppets from me, and she said she was giving them as a gift to her dad who golfed. Like, what are you talking about? She says, yeah, we're going to use these as golf club covers. So that day I went to Goodwill and I bought 2 golf clubs. I don't know much about golf. I bought a big wood one and a skinny metal one, maybe a putter, I don't know, and just to test them out and see whether or not these things would fit, and they did. So I created a separate bundle for golf lovers just as golf club covers. So that's one way to use the same product in completely different fanatical niche markets. Does that make sense? And like I said, there's a video on the Bundle Masterclass site, bundlemasterclass.com/proseller, and just click on, I think it's under course outline, and click on that and you'll see the whole video of this and 2 other bundles I did too. Okay, so how do you lock down your listing? So I want you to think about promotional companies. So these are companies, you know, when you go to a trade show or you get something in the mail that it's got a logo of a company on, you might use that product, but the logo, it doesn't really, you know, give any traction to that product. So how you're going to use promotional companies' products differently is you're going to put in our fanatical target market is 13-year-old girls with a cell phone who love unicorns, and they love bling, and they love pink, right? So you will go to somewhere like Upwork or Fiverr and have someone draw, maybe hand-drawn a cartoon unicorn that says something like fun on top of it, like wee or something, right? A little logo, an image of a unicorn that's really fun. And then instead of printing a company logo on these promotional company products, they're also called advertising promotion, you'll put the image of that unicorn, but you'll put it on like 5 or 6 different products. So you put it on this pop socket, the earbuds, a cell phone holder, and here's maybe this guy, it's a little wallet with a ring. So you'll put 3 or 4 different products together, all pink and all with that same logo. And you'll market it as a bundle for little girls 13-year-old girls who love unicorns and have a cell phone. Okay, so that's just one idea. So here's some other categories that you can find products to put an image on, not a company logo, an image. So you see this drawstring bag area over here? So the gentleman who did, or the person, could have been a woman, who did the that bundle we looked at a couple of minutes ago with the Get Fit, products, they actually could have had something created, like a picture of a man and a woman all like feeling like this, or get fit now, or something really cute, and actually put that on the bag. Lunch coolers, tumblers, look at all these different types of products. Poker cards. So you can actually put like a poker lovers set together with a certain image on it, okay? Like people who like football or sports, you could actually have the backs of poker cards created where it's just a bunch of different sports balls, like, you know, basketballs and soccer balls and footballs on the back image of the card. Okay, so you could do a game night. This is off the top of my head. And then maybe have poker chip sets created with that same image on it. Just, again, off the top of my head. We'd have to research that out a little bit. But that's a fanatical niche market, right? Sports lovers and poker lovers. So we've got a mashup there, don't we, of two highly trafficked keyword groups. Okay, so let's keep going. Step 6, how do you maximize your bundle concept? Well, I just gave you a couple of ideas above, like with the puppets. So if you create different versions for your fanatical niches, and you use the same base product, like the puppets for the base product for different versions of my bundle, I will be able to go back to the wholesale supplier, because now if I have 3 bundles selling to 3 different markets, but they all have the puppets as a base, I can now triple my buy from that wholesale supplier and negotiate a better price for a higher quantity. And it's faster, easier prep. If you've got a prep company you're using, you send them that base product, and then the 3 different other, you know, bundle sets to it, they can more easily put them together. And then you can leverage variations on listings. So you can, that means when you start getting traction with your reviews, your great reviews on your listing, now you can have different variations on that listing that leverages the positive reviews. So are we having fun? Go ahead and put in the chat, yes, you're still with me. Say hi, say something in the chat so I know you're still here and you're having fun. I know I'm going fast, folks, but I want to make sure that I give you a ton of content today. Let me go over to the chat and see what we got over here. Just any questions in the chat that relate to exactly what I was talking about. Hi, yes, awesome. Okay, so we will go ahead and answer some of these questions. I see Stan's got a long question. So give me a second and let's just dive forward a little bit more. I'm going to invite you to join us in the Bundle Masterclass. So I've got like 42 videos in there, 9 different modules, a ton of content on how to, my approach to creating bundles, but also you can apply a lot of what you're going to learn in the Bundle Masterclass to your existing products, to your RA, your OA, private label products, wholesale sourcing, because I show you how to negotiate with suppliers, how to optimize your listing, for example. So when you enroll, you're going to get all of the things that we just mentioned in this presentation, plus a lot more. The course structure, there's training modules, there's exercises, lots of show and tell over my shoulder. Unscripted, you get to watch me where we start with a niche market. We brainstorm together and then I just dig in and we build bundles live right there in the training. Interviews with industry leaders, because there are people who know a lot more about some things than I do, like photography. We've got 2 entire hour-long videos on how to put together amazing photographs, worksheets, checklists, and of course the private Facebook group with almost 300 fellow bundlers in there, lifetime access to the course. And because Amazon's always changing, I'm always putting new content in there. For instance, GTIN exemptions recently changed, so I'll put new content in there anytime Amazon changes their TOS. Here's the thing, I am a full-time Amazon seller. This is what I do. So I'm in there in the trenches, and when I learn something new, I bring it to you guys. Here's the bundle planner you get, and you can just fill it out. You can print it out, take it with you to stores. You get the private Facebook group, and you'll be supported by people like Jerry Mills, who was a bundler, but he entered the Bundle Masterclass, and he says that I taught him things that he didn't learn anywhere else. And this Bundle Masterclass is for newbies to Amazon, as well as bundler people who have been selling on Amazon for a while and bundling for a while. So the real cost of education, John mentioned this earlier, that I was talking about. I did a testimonial video for a China trip that I went on. I was actually brought in to be the coach teaching people how to bundle during a trip in China to Yiwu market. And the cost of education, my university degree must have cost me probably $30,000 after 10 years of student loans, paying on the interest or whatever. And I don't even work a job in the degree that I have. So taking uninformed action, I see people put together bundles based on products first and throwing them up to Amazon, and they don't sell, so they've got to pull them back. They've got to eat that product. They've lost money on it because they didn't take the customer-centric approach. Getting unsuspended. If you do something that you're not allowed to do based on Amazon's terms of service and they shut down your account, that's it, you're gone, right? The cost of having someone help you get unsuspended, if you can even, plus all your lost sales, can be extremely costly. Live events can be very costly to attend. I go to a lot of them. And I bring a lot of the things that I learn I buy $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 training courses, $25,000 mastermind program. I bring everything that I learn in these courses and these trainings into the bundle masterclass when it's relevant to bundling. And then I'm going to teach you how to learn what major retail stores are doing without the cost of importing. So you can bundle on a very small scale. You can have maybe 10 bundles with 24 products or 24 quantity in there. Or you can scale up and have hundreds of bundles. Or you can just focus on a specific niche and create a bunch of bundles just for one passionate niche market. And I'm going to show you how retail stores do that. So Debbie Tremblay, she was a newbie and she loves my energy. You can tell that all of my lessons are based on this energy. So she's has been bundling for a while and on Amazon for a while, but she entered the course to find new opportunities. Okay, and then Maria Torrey. So she's been an Amazon seller for a while, and she actually took some other bundle training. And the bundle training that she took taught her how to have a product-centric approach. And unfortunately, she lost money on those bundles because she didn't do the research up front. And then she entered the bundle masterclass and she started doing it the way that we teach how to do it, filled in the blanks for her, and now she's making money with her bundles. Thank you, Maria. So I'm going to give you some bonuses when you enroll in the bundle masterclass today. Live show and tell training. I'm going to show you how to use Amazon. Amazon's got a bestseller list for Q4. You know that, right? So I'm going to teach you, and they also have kind of a Pinterest type of list thing going on that a lot of people don't know about, where you can create these niche lists, and people have created niche lists. So I'm going to show you where they are, how to get to them, to get ideas for fanatical niche markets based on the bestseller list and the niche lists. Bonus 2, you're going to get 2.3 million, a list of them, a spreadsheet full of top sellers in Amazon categories that you can do online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, create wholesale opportunities, create bundles from them. You're going to know what the top 2.3 million top sellers are right now on Amazon, broken down by categories. And then I'm going to give you my personal dollar store supplier Rolodex. So if any of you are already going to dollar stores and sourcing products there, what are you paying for the product? $1 each, right? I give you my Rolodex of wholesale companies that sell to the dollar stores. So you can get those same products for anywhere from 29 cents to at the very most 69 cents. So you're going to get the stuff that you're paying $1 for now for wholesale prices, significantly less, which increases your margin on any bundles that you're thinking of doing or are already doing. And that's going to be a VIP bonus when you enroll in the Bundle Masterclass. So you get the entire Bundle Masterclass. You get the Facebook group, private Facebook group with a bunch of master bundlers in there. You can ask questions and we all pile on and help you figure out how to navigate the bundling, navigate Amazon. You get the top sellers list. You get all the bonuses I just listed, and let's do the math on this. So you know how I said that the training that I buy each year with my mastermind group, I'm at $30,000, $40,000 a year in training for my easily. So if you create just 10 bundles and you average a net of $10 each, do the math, get your calculator out. 10 bundles, and each of them is averaging $10 each net after all of your expenses and cost of goods, and you sell just 50 of each month of all of those bundles, easy peasy, that equals $5,000 net monthly profit. That's $5,000 a month just from 10 bundles. That's $60,000 net annual profit. Now let's say it's 10 times the amount of bundles. Let's say you have 100 bundles doing that. So from just 10 bundles, that's $5,000 net monthly profit. And my goal for you after going through the Bundle Masterclass is within 30 days, you have gone through and learned the process and created your first bundle to get into Amazon. Okay, so you're ready for making more money off your Amazon account, having more profit for your Amazon account. It's time to bundle, guys. You get instant access to the entire course, plus the private mastermind group, plus all the VIP bonuses for just $3.99. It's normally $4.99. You're saving $100 when you go through John's link, which is bundlemasterclass.com/proseller. So go ahead and enroll now, and I give you all the bonuses, bundlemasterclass.com/proseller. And go ahead and ask your questions in the chat, and I will answer them. By the way, you can also follow me on Facebook. To go to facebook.com/bundle-secrets and just like that page, and I put a bunch of bundle ideas and supplier information in that page as well. So it's facebook.com/bundle-secrets, just like that page. But go ahead and enroll in bundlemasterclass.com/proseller now, and look forward to seeing you in the course. Hey, John, what kind of questions do we have in the chat? Let me come over to the chat here and see what kind of questions we have.
Did you answer Stan's? I'm not sure if you got to Stan's question.
All right, so let's answer Stan's question. Stan says, Barbara, what would be a good bundle for a supplement that helps with joint pain or inflammation? Okay, so let's start with that question. So joint pain and inflammation for who? So is it animal? Is it person? Is the joint pain caused by athletic? Maybe are they athletes? Are they elderly? Are they people with a specific ailment like that's causing it? Maybe they're diabetic and it's giving them joint pain, right? So that's the first question you need to answer. And then he asks, does the second product need to be replenishable? Well, if you want to, every product in the bundle needs to be replenishable. And by replenishable, that means can you keep getting it? Because if just one part of your bundle, you can no longer get that, or you can only, get a certain amount of them, that limits the amount of that bundle that you can sell. So he says, for example, a pill case would be useful for anyone who's taking supplements regularly. However, it is not a replenishable product, but I don't agree with you there. So Stan, I'm going to give you a little pushback. I think if we went to any of those advertising specialty sites, we would find pill cases that you could order over and over and over again and put your own image on. So maybe the pill case you're getting now is not replenishable from that supplier, but if you lock down that pill case and get it from an ad specialty or direct from manufacturer, directly from a factory, it is replenishable. So, so people placing repeat orders will end up with too many pill cases. Okay, I see what you're saying. So what you're asking me is there a way? So let's say you have a bundle that meets a certain need, but inside of that bundle, there are products that they will use up and they'll need to buy from you again. So that's where product inserts come in, where you can actually invite them to, you can create a separate bundle that doesn't have the pill case in it and just includes the replenishable items, and then invite them in that insert to go to that new Amazon listing with that bundle of replenishables and buy just the replenishables. Make sense? Okay, what other questions do we have here? Do you normally run ads on your bundles? So let me reword that. Do I run ads on the bundles? My goal with my bundles is when I do my research up front really well, I don't need to run ads. My goal is to get organic reach and organic sales right out of the gate. Now, do I run ads to drive more traffic? Absolutely. Sure, why not? Pay-per-click within Amazon. I do Facebook. After I've tested it, a niche market, not the bundle, a niche market, and I see that there's some traction, then I will create a niche Facebook page for that niche passion or problem, and then run ads to my product through Facebook. You can also run Pinterest ads. Check out Reddit. You can run Reddit ads, Instagram ads. They're all different platforms that you can run ads from. And Stan says old age. It's not what I meant, but replenishable. Okay, I think I answered Stan's question. So what other questions do we have? Hit me up, guys. Happy to answer some questions for you. John, do you have any questions? Go ahead and turn your video on so we can do face-to-face. John? All right, hi.
I turned it on.
For me.
All right, so the one question I had was from the beginning, and you were talking about the products of bundling and the ones that are restricted products, and we want to get back to that.
Well, they're restricted brands. So what I was saying is if you went to, and this started happening a couple of years ago, I think it was about 3 summers ago, I invested in a pallet of Pokemon toys. It was late in the summer, so I was gearing up towards Q4. And this pallet of Pokemon toys arrives in my garage. They set down the pallet. I'm like, woohoo, Now I had checked, I had scanned them, I had looked at the listings, I was ungated for that category, I was approved for the Pokemon brand, and then the pallet shows up and I go to scan them again to create my listings, and I am now no longer allowed to sell that brand. So that brand became restricted overnight, within the time that I ordered and got the product. Scary, right? That was kind of my wake up moment that, holy cow, I need to do something a little bit differently with Amazon, so I'm owning my listings. So I let it sit for about 3 weeks. I was like, okay, well, what do I do with this stuff? I asked some friends on Facebook, how do I liquidate this stuff now? Can't send it back, right? And then I scanned them again, and lo and behold, I was no longer restricted for that brand. For some reason, they opened up that restriction, and then I sent that stuff into Amazon, and it sold right away, and I was done. I was like, okay, right? So about 2.5, 3 years ago, as you know, John, Amazon just started rolling out brand restrictions like Nike and Disney and Star Wars. So if you're not, if you haven't been approved to sell a restricted brand, then you can't list on a listing. You can't sell that brand. Have you experienced anything like that, John?
Yeah, I've experienced that. And I think it started, the kickoff of that, I'm trying to remember back, but I think when Frozen, the original movie, came out, that's when they started that whole thing.
Yeah, and then they just started expanding it out. So Frozen and Star Wars were the two when I first started that I wasn't allowed to sell. And that was 2015. And then Nike hit last year, which was huge for a lot of people who were selling Nike. So brand restrictions keep rolling out. So you just have to make sure that you're not using brand keywords because Amazon will say no and they'll shut your listing down. And then all of your bundles are just sitting in that warehouse unable to be sold. You have to pull them back.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's important to understand about these bundles, guys, is that when you're creating bundles, you don't have to, you want to be looking for products. At least when we look for products that are not brand driven.
Yes. I like that term, brand driven. So Stan asks me, now this is a business question more so than a bundle question. Stan asks, Barbara, what success rate should I expect from my bundles? For example, out of 10 bundles, how many would be selling 50 a month? So Stan, there's no answer to that because whether you're, basically, this is private label selling. So you just don't know until you try it, which is why I mitigate risk with creating bundles and private label products by doing my upfront research on the target market and my competition. So we're running a business here and there are no guarantees, period. But what you can do, what you do have control over is your upfront research and how well you optimize your listings and how well you put together your bundles. So I'm not going to tell you what the success rate for you could be because it could be different for you than it is for me.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. I think the data is key. I mean, you got to have the data because I was talking to Barbara before we came on this on the air earlier, and I was telling her that, you know, based on our data and what we saw, we have a product right now. You're talking 50 a month. We have, and it's not a bundle, but it's a product that we actually added a variation of a bundle to it, and we're selling over 200 a day. But those are not something that happen all the time. Those are far and few in between. It's just sometimes you hit a home run and sometimes you don't. But 50 a month is not out of question to be able to reach. I would say that's pretty easy to do.
It is pretty easy to do, actually.
If you base it on the data, and you have to have the data, the keywords, the proper targeted audience, like Barbara said, that you're going after.
Because let's say you don't have all the puzzle pieces together and you've done everything except you put up a listing that's just junk. One picture, no bullets, a terrible title. It could be the best bundle in the most amazing target market in the world, but you haven't created the listing properly. And here's the thing. I believe in dollar cost averaging. You guys know what that is? So let's say I put up, my goal is to put up 10 bundles a month consistently. Now, some months I don't do 10 bundles a month because I'm busy with, it's Q4 right now. So I'm just busy shipping. And my bundle concept creation has kind of gone down a little bit. But come January, I might create 20 bundle or 30 bundle concepts. So let's say you send in 100 bundles every year, dollar cost average that out. So that means that, let's say, on average, out of all 100 bundles, you're netting $10 and selling X amount of bundles across your entire inventory a year. So some will do better than others. That's called Pareto's principle, 80-20 rule, right? So 20% of everything you do is going to result in 80% of your results, for example. I tried to make that percentage even higher. So this is a business, and there are no absolutes or no guarantees, I'm sorry. But I can help you mitigate your risk by doing it in a way so that the research supports your bundles. That make sense?
Yeah. So Jen, to answer your question, the 200, you asked if I'm doing 200 bundles or individual products. We're doing multi-packs and bundles, so the combination between the two. But it's a little bit interesting because based on our research, we saw that, and I know Barbara teaches differently and I believe differently, but I also know fourth quarter is a very big seasonal time, and we have our private label products that run all year long. But if I can get a product that I've done my research on and I can profit $60,000 a month on it, I'd be crazy not to do it for a seasonal product just for fourth quarter.
I agree. I didn't say don't do seasonal. I've got
no, I know that.
Too. Absolutely. My Halloween seasonals went crazy.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing with this product right here. We did our research, we found the product, it's very seasonal, but we've already had days where it's doing 2, 3. We expect by Black Friday to be doing 600 a day. I mean,
yay, congratulations.
That's how big this product in this, and also it was a category, a seasonal category where if you do your research and you dig deep enough, we only had 3 other people as competition.
Nice.
And we took over and blew them away.
Nice.
So
that's why research and market research is key before you throw something up on Amazon. So Jen asks, are the storage fees more for bundles in Amazon? So Jen, the way that Amazon looks at your listing is it's a product. That bundle is a product. So your listing fees are based on the weight and the size of that product. Weight, size, price of that product. So they don't see it as a bundle, and bundles they charge different fees are because it's a bundle of products. It is one product with a bunch of stuff in it. And then she also asks how to use pack polys, poly bags, boxes. So Jen, it depends on the bundle. It depends what it is. So I know that John is involved with my fulfillment team. Maybe he can give you a little bit more input on the different ways that he uses to prep bundles.
Yeah, we have a lot. We have private label sellers that use us, that we actually have their own brand boxes that we use. I mean, they get them made. We do poly bags. We do bubbling. I mean, and we put them in just a simple brown box from like Uline or something like that. Somebody wants to have their product that maybe it came in bulk and we got to put it in boxes and separate it for them. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about doing that in bundling. And the one thing that I want to touch on to elaborate a little bit on what Barbara said is that about the fees. Guys, when you do a multi-pack or like a bundle, what Barbara's talking about, guess what? There's one pick fee. You don't pay for all those individual items inside there, like 3 different pick fees to put it together. There's one. So when you're doing that, you got to be looking at your margins. And margin is huge when you know that you got 4 items in it now, 1 pick fee, not 4 pick fees. It allows you to make more profit because you're only paying the 1. I just thought that was important to throw in.
Yep, I agree. So Jen asks, are you showing that packaging, the photos on the listing? Hey Jen, if my packaging is part of the product, like the the carry box for the puppets, absolutely, because the packaging is part of the experience that the customer is going to have when they when they open the product. That's part of the experience of using the product. Now, if you're asking, do you show? Let's say you've got a couple of plush pieces and you're putting them in a poly bag. You're asking, do you show that poly bagged product? No. But because that's not so much relevant to the experience the customer is going to have in using the product. But what I would do is put up lifestyle photos, have lifestyle photos of kids playing with that product, for example.
Yeah, and I agree with Barbara 100%, Jen. It's more about creating the experience than the actual packaging of how it gets shipped to somebody.
Yeah, now Amazon has rules on polybagging and prep, how you're supposed to prep your products. Follow those rules. They change regularly. John knows the rules. Send everything to a prep company. That is your ultimate goal, is where you become like this bundle master, where you just get really great at generating ideas and researching those target markets and finding products and negotiating deals. And then the grunt work, the touching and feeling of the product, that can all be outsourced. All of it can be sent to like my fulfillment team, to a prep company. Make sense? Any other questions, John? Did you guys
Great.
find this helpful? Go ahead and put in the chat. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Loved it. Go ahead and put in the chat.
Questions, guys. Let me see. The photos, listings. Okay, that's helpful. Wow. Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Angie.
Yeah, guys, you guys, like I promised you, this webinar, I told you that Barbara has a lot of insight in the way that she does things and the way that she packages things, and just the knowledge of knowing. And Barbara and I talked about this before we came on the air as well, is that we both believe that you can private label products, but Amazon's future, and because there's so many sellers getting on there and not understanding how to sell on the platform, by 2019 and further down the line, you're going to have to know how to bundle. You're going to have to know Barbara. You're going to have to know how to be able to do this process. So the sooner you get in, it's like, you know, when you get into something at the very beginning, what happens, you get to jump on the competition. So when they come in later, you've already learned those things and you're processed it, and you're that much further ahead of them. So I suggest that if you're serious about selling on Amazon and you want to grow your business, you must invest in bundling, because that's where it's going to be at in the future. And you want that, you want the edge, just like what Barbara talked about. We pay $12,000, $15,000 for courses as well as her in conferences. Why? Because you have to stay ahead of your competition all the time.
But it's not spending the money. I invest in that $25,000 mastermind because it makes me much more back in being around the right people and learning how to do things the right way. I mean, there's knowledge out there that big sellers aren't telling you because they don't want to create their own competition. You have to kind of pay to play. You have to be, in order to get to that level, you have to pay to get access to that information. And that's what I do because I get that money back. It's an investment in my education and my business. Oh yeah, it comes back tenfold. Absolutely. And getting to conferences, guys, you don't have to go to a $25,000. You can go to some of these conferences and the people on the stage are great, but the networking that happens in between with the guests and stuff like is huge. I mean, there's so many people out there that are willing to help you and learn. You know, I've been to these conferences as well, and it's just amazing the knowledge you pick up just from the actual general audience that's out there as well, and how they're willing to share. You know, the one tip I'll give you guys is remember that I know a lot of people might be afraid to talk to somebody and start a conversation, but whether it's a vendor or going to an event and talking to someone that's just like you, they're just as much afraid to talk to you as you are of them. They're as scared as you are of them. Just keep that in mind. Someone has to initiate it. And once you initiate it, you'll find out that they're open to a lot of these conversations and open to, you know, create and have business relationships with you. Well, and in the Bundle Mastermind, you get our private Facebook group, and there's a few hundred people in there who are just super supportive. There's no such thing as a dumb question. We've all started somewhere. We're all at different parts in our journey. So it's about supporting each other and, you know, just having being in a group of people that we all want the best for each other. We all want success for each other. I think that's really important too, just to be surrounded by people who care about your success. Yeah, and so, the other thing, guys, I'll throw in here real quick that we didn't mention yet is anyone that does take Barbara up on her course and wants to learn from her, we always give you guys the best pricing from our fulfillment company. So we take care of Barbara's students because we truly believe in what she does and how many people she's helped. And we want to be a part of that. So we give you reduced rates for our fulfillment services. So just keep that in mind as you put these things together. Thank you, John. As always, you over-deliver. So I love that you walk your talk. So we're at about quarter after. If there are not any more questions, we're going to shut down. Go to bundlemasterclass.com/proseller. But there are tabs at the top. You can look at the course outline. I've got a couple of different videos on there. Watch the videos so you can get a little bit more information that you can just, you know, get started. You read about me on there so you can see kind of my background and, you know, why you should listen to me. And go ahead and enroll, and we'll see you inside the course. Thanks, John. I appreciate you having me on. I'll stop the share now so we can do a final goodbye face-to-face. Jen had one last question. She said, where do you get the UPC codes for bundles? Do not use third-party UPC codes on bundles. Amazon said no more to that over a year and a half ago. You may not use third-party UPC codes. You may register your own UPC codes, or you may request from Amazon a GTIN exemption, which allows you to list your bundles without a UPC code. And if you go inside of Amazon, your Amazon account, and you go on help and you put in GTIN and search for it, it will give you the little form to fill out for your bundles. Do not use third-party UPC codes. It is against Amazon's terms of service.
Yeah, they have to be what, GTI codes or?
No. GTIN is an exemption for a UPC code. So if you wanted your own UPC code for your bundles or for your private label products, then you can go to GS1 and you can buy your own set of UPC codes. But why would you do that if Amazon will give you a free exemption to having a UPC code? But I absolutely do not support the going to buy a third-party UPC code. I know you've heard it from other people or random YouTube videos because they don't know. And this is the knowledge that I'm talking about, that is that upper level, that, you know, the people who are just kind of a little bit experienced enough to have enough information to be dangerous and are teaching, they don't know the behind the scenes stuff. They don't read Amazon's terms of service, and they don't stay up with Amazon's terms of service when they change. This is really important, guys. If your account can be put at risk, and I hate to be dramatic here, but I don't want you to get shut down. I want you to be profitable with your business. If your account gets shut down because you do something that Amazon says you're not allowed to do, because you heard it on some YouTube video and you didn't verify it, that terrifies me for you. So I'm telling you right now, you are not allowed to use third-party UPC codes on your listings, period. Don't buy them. Go do a GTIN exemption. Easy and free and fast.
Last question, then we're going to be done. Jen says, I was told GTIN's expired.
It depends. So Amazon keeps changing. Love Amazon. None of mine have expired. So it says before they changed to their new system just a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, you would apply for GTIN, and it would say these GTIN exemptions are good for 3 months or 6 months. And it was different per category and different per seller, which was really confusing, right? I'm here to tell you that was a year and a half ago, and none of my GTIN exemptions have expired. So here's what I tell people. Because when Amazon sometimes is trying to figure out what they want their terms of service to be for a specific thing, they'll change it up and don't tell you, and they don't even know, and you could get a different rep on the phone every time and get a different answer. But here's what you do if you're unsure of Amazon's terms of service because it's vague. You do a support request with Amazon, and you request they respond in writing. So now you have the answer in writing. So if another rep sees your listing and says, oh, well, that's, you know, whatever, that's not going to work, then you can refer back to that written answer from another rep. Does that make sense? I can't control what Amazon does, but I can control a little bit how I respond to it. Okay, Jen says, I find Barbara to be beyond knowledgeable. Oh, thank you, and everyone should join her. Thank you, Jen. Only reason I'm here because you are the moderator. What? Well, I'm thrilled that John introduced me to his tribe. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so rant over.
All right, guys, we're going to end this, and thank you guys for being here as always, and make sure you join me this Thursday. I will have another guest, Abe Kamali, on here. He was on last week, and we had such a response that he's coming back again to go into more detail. And make sure you're on this one, because Abe and I have a special announcement that we're going to be due for you guys, and I don't want to share that secret with you right now because I think it's something awesome to help you if you're having problems finding products. You want to stay tuned to this one. So again, Barbara, thank you for being here. I wish you the best as always. I mean, love what you do. Love all the people that you're helping. And again, thanks and God bless. And I hope you have a great holiday.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, John. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.